Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will talk about one of the best 4-star character that been used by most of the player in the game. Why I'm bringing this topic right now? One of the biggest reason is because these characters will get more spotlight when Acheron appeared in the future. As you may know, Acheron is a character who depends a lot with another nihility type on the team, right? But if you put Acheron with bad nihility type or another nihility type that don't give much support to Acheron, then your Acheron will not perform well as much as you want. But Pela is a different case. She will definitely make Acheron much better because her kit can increases her value so much. In this video, we will talk everything about her kit and her build to make her more suitable with Acheron in the future. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, now we will talk about the next thing. Before I give you the reason why you should pick Pela as the Acheron support character, I wanna let you know every single nihility character in the game that been released right now. For 4-star characters, there is Guinevere, Luca, Pela, Sampo, and for 5-star characters, there is Black Swan, Kafka, Silver Wolf, and Welt. As you can see, there's total 8 nihility characters that can be paired with Acheron later. But since now we talk about 4-star characters, then let's put out the list of the 5-star characters for later. Between Guinevere, Luca, Pela, and Sampo, which one is the best combination for Acheron? What do you think? Let's break down these characters first. Guinevere is a burn DOT specialist who can easily apply burn to multiple enemies and trigger the DOT instantly with her ultimate. Guinevere can also increase the damage taken by enemies affected by burn. The second nihility type is Luca. Luca is a great character to have if you want another DOT party member in your collection. Luca can also provide extra utilities such as removing an enemy's buff with his skill and increasing the damage taken by an enemy with his ultimate. The third one is Pela. Pela is one of the best 4-star units thanks to her SP positive playstyle and her ability to debuff all enemies' defense. Pela can also remove enemy buff with her skill, which can be beneficial against enemies such as Shapeshifter and Meta Struck soldiers. The last thing is Sampo. Sampo is a wind sub DPS that relies on inflicting wind shear to deal DOT damage. His kit is focused on dealing DOT damage and amplifying it through the debuff his ultimate inflicts, which is DOT vulnerability. Okay, after you look at this roster for nihility type, of course each of these characters have their own best stat. But since we are talking the best support for Acheron, definitely not everyone can put on the same team with her. So, which one do you pick? Since this game released a long time ago, many players using these characters for many reasons. Some said that this character is really good since she is SP positive, means she doesn't need to use her skill unless to remove buff from enemies. Another thing is her ultimate is really good for increasing damage for another DPS like Jingliu, since her Eidolon 4 makes the enemies losing an ice resistance. Anyway, let's break down every good thing about Pela. The first thing is she is really easy to build. She is just a 4-star character, so she doesn't really need that much investment. Her stat is also pretty easy to build. She just needs some evacuate rate and some speed, and bam, you are good to go. Her defense down debuff is really helpful for pure DPS like Jingliu and Acheron. She also can remove buff from enemies as well. This thing is really good especially for those enemies who have powerful buff. I think that is the strongest point why many people build this character for, especially when we already know that Acheron will come out later. Okay, now since you already know the strongest thing why everyone choose this character instead, now let's talk about her build to maximize her kit to become the best support for Acheron. For her basic attack, as usual, she just do some basic attack equal to 50% of her attack to single enemy. This attack is the main attack for Pela to generate SP for the team. For her skill, she can remove one buff from the enemy and deal ice damage equal to 105% of Pela's attack to a single enemy. This skill actually pretty good, especially when you're facing some enemies that have so many buffs on them. This skill will quite handy, but I suggest you to use it only when the enemy have a buff. Next is her ultimate. To be honest, her ultimate is the biggest reason why everyone built her and still use her till now. Because her ultimate is really good, she can deal damage while give a decreased defense debuff to the enemies. Another good thing about her ultimate is she can proc her ultimate so fast because her talent. So she can spam her ultimate on every single enemies. Now let's talk about her talent. She will get additional energy when you attack the enemy is debuffed. Since you will pair her with Acheron later, then the enemy definitely have 1 or 2 debuff on them. So this talent will always active. For her technique, I think it's also quite good. You can use it first before jump into the battle. It can give you more opportunity by lowering defense of all enemies by 20% for 2 turns. Okay, now let's jump on to her traces. To be honest, most of it is really sucks for her. Why? Because she is just a support role, not a DPS one. But most of her traces is about to increase her damage dealt. So of course it won't affect much. But the good thing is about her traces is that she can increase all allies affected rate by 10%, which will affect Acheron, but not that much. Okay, now let's move on to her Eidolons. Same with her traces, most of it is quite unusable, but except for Eidolon 4, which is quite good if you paired her with another ice type, like Jingliu. But since we are now talking about Acheron, then it will be useless, of course. Let's move on to her relic set. Actually, so many new players got it wrong to put correct relic set for her. Maybe I will say it's not wrong, but rather not quite right. Like what I said before, the best part of Pela is about her ultimate. The rest is the next thing. So the best relic set for her is 4 set of Eagle Twilight line. Maybe you will ask why this relic. Eagle of Twilight line allows Pela to be advances forward every single time she uses her ultimate, which can help her get her ultimate back up by having an extra turn earlier. This also helps Pela restore additional SP since she will have another turn earlier when she uses her ultimate. If you don't have Eagle of Twilight line relics, the Musketeer set can be a good alternative. This set further increases Pela's speed and lets her take her action much earlier than her allies, which is important for debuffs like her. For the ornament, I will suggest you to use Pan Cosmic Commercial Enterprise because Pela can make use of both additional effect hit rate and attack stat to help debuffing enemies while still dealing some damage. This Pela build ensures that her debuff applies to the enemies and that she gets more turns. Pela only needs 67% of effect hit rate to guarantee her defense decrease debuff applies on enemies. Eagle of Twilight line allows Pela to have more turns because of the advance forward. After reaching 67% of effect hit rate, you can focus on stat that increases her survivability like HP percent or defense percentage. You can also go for more offense-oriented stat like critical or attack percentage if you can ensure her safety in other ways. The last thing is for her Lightcones. For Lightcones, I suggest you to use Resolution Shine as Pearls of Sweat. Why? Because this Lightcones is the easiest thing you can get as free-to-play player and its effect is pretty good. It can decrease the enemy defense by 12% for 1 turn when Pela hits the enemy. So since her ultimate is AoE attack, then she can give this debuff to every single enemy on the battle. And yeah, that's why I think this one is pretty good. So that's everything about Pela. How was it? Do you think Pela is a good pair with Acheron? Please leave your comment below. Thank you for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next video.